Well, hello and welcome back to Overcoming Obstacles. We've had a good time with this. We're in our final module, Module 4. We'll have session 19 and then the final session 20 next week because this is a two-parter. Gonna get a culmination of all the 20 weeks, 18 weeks up to this point that we've gone through, and we've got a nice little exercise for us to do over the next couple of weeks to get you rolling. Really up early into November as we're doing it live, so that you're ready for the new year. You'll have plenty of time to get everything set and get your goals ready and get everything rolling. If you need any additional help with any of this or anything else, just reach out to us as always. You can hit me up at a to b for me.info/15 with Don, and you can actually grab a free, absolutely free 15-minute strategy session with me. So go up and do that, and we can get this thing rolling for you. Okay, well, I am going to back out of here as I always do, so we can make this screen a little bigger for you. I will see you a little bit later, and we'll get going into session 19 because we're going to be talking about creating your own success story. In other words, we're going to be writing your own success story, and this is part one of the series, and then we'll wrap it up, like I said, next week, and you're going to really have a good time with this. Well, when writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. And that is really what I want to start out with for this entire module, because don't let anybody else hold that pen. This is your story. This is your life. So don't. A lot of our problems we've been having, we talked about in previous episodes, is you're taking on dreams and goals for other people, and that's part of your frustration. So for this exercise and from here on out, just make the decision that when you write your story, don't let anybody else hold your pen. Now, so far in this course, you've learned about overcoming setbacks, maintaining your motivation for your goals, and developed a habit of persevering. And that's really the core key principles that we have had so far in the program. But in this final module, you're going to get to put it all together, and we're going to create your own unique success story. And this first session is going to help you prepare for writing your story. As preparing to write your own story, everyone wants to be a success in both their personal and professional lives, but unfortunately, not everyone will take the steps necessary to become a success. So we've got to sharpen those pencils out. Let's get a blank sheet of paper and let's get going with this, because we have to prepare to write our own success story. It's just not going to happen. So be sure that we take these necessary steps, and we're going to talk about these things today. Now, my first question for you is, what about you? Are you ready to step out of your comfort zone and write your own success story? Only you can do it, and you have to be in a place where you're ready to do that. And if you're not, again, reach out to me. We'll do some strategy sessions, but we want this to really be productive and really make a big impact in your life, and absolutely in your next 4 quarters. So we get your life turned around, or whatever you need to get it going. But the bottom line is, only you can do it. We're here to help you. But only you can really do it. So what about you? Are you ready? Now, you got to ask yourself, as we always have, what does success look like? It looks to you, what does it look like? It's going to look different to me. It's going to look different to probably your spouse or a significant other. Certainly different if you're older than your children. And it may even look different than what it did to you as your younger self. So you have to decide, what does success look like? Now, some people, success means you're going to own their own business, you're going to have a large house, going to earn a lot of money, a lot of just tangible, I got to have this stuff. I call this the stuff page. So it's all about earning, it's all about title, it's all about all the capital and the benefits and all the great things that I can have, right? So it's business, it's home, it's money, these types of things, and possessions. And so for a lot of folks, success, the S's in success have dollar signs. and there's nothing wrong with that, but there are other areas of success, and I would say that there are that this is probably just one of the areas. A lot of people mix up career and financial. They put them together, and I'm telling you that's a huge mistake because you want to separate those things. You can be financially successful and hate your career. And you're probably might be financially successful because you have a career that you hate, right? So you're not happy, but you can be financially successful and love your career. So your career doesn't necessarily have to make you all the money. We just have to figure out a way to make the money that you make work for you wisely, so that you can achieve financial success. But maybe that's a big part of what success means. For others, I mean, success might be something as simple as raising children to be productive members of society. Maybe it's just, having good kids. That's just maybe a big part of your success story. It's really what you want to go after. Or maybe an organization. Maybe it's charitable stuff. But again, for me, there's really 7 areas of success. You got career, financial. You got your family and relationships. I kind of put those in as one. And then you've got your mental goals, your social goals. You got physical goals, spiritual goals. So a lot of different areas out there that you want to have in this wheel of life. And if you've taken Deep Dive to Destiny with me, you know that we go through the wheel of life and with Darren Hardy and kind of get this thing ferreted out for yourself. But you got to know what success is going to look like to you. Now, there are many ways to view success and many ways to reach it. And hopefully, you're not just like Wheel of Fortune, spinning this thing and, okay, well, wherever it lands, right? Because before embarking on this exercise of writing your own success story, do you know what form you would like to see your success story take? In other words, what are we looking at? I mean, what is that destiny? What is that? Is it legacy? What is it? So what form do you want it to be? And as you're writing it, you will probably be writing it several different areas. So you may have a main success story. And again, we're really not talking about, we'll talk about this in a little bit, not what success really means, the definition of it, but we're looking at being successful in most cases. But you don't want to just leave it up to, chance and a wheel of fortune. We want to have a plan, and that's why we're doing this. We don't want to just, because when you do these wheels things, even though there might be an equal amount of failure on here than success, you just know it's not going to be success, right? It's going to be on the other thing. So we want to be sure that we rig that wheel, and that's what we're talking about doing these next couple of weeks. Let's rig the wheel. And in what ways do you want to be successful? How do you know where you're going? So we've got to look at it. Career, again, you got to define things. Wealth, what do you need? Is it popularity? Hopefully it's happiness. I mean, to me, that's really the ultimate thing. Is I love to have fun, and whatever I'm doing, it doesn't make any difference what I'm doing. I'm gonna figure out a way to have fun doing it. Love, maybe it's your beauty, hope, ownership, status, family, compassion. What is it? The skills that you have. But how do you define success? So let's think about these things, because you're not going to be able to write a plan if you don't have it defined properly for yourself. Now, again, not let anybody else hold that pen. It's for yourself. So in what ways do you want to be successful? And do you know where you're going? I mean, you kind of got to know that, right? It's like, are you ready to go? You want to book a dream vacation. Well, what you do, like anything, before you head out on a journey across the country or across the world, there's some steps you probably need to take. You got to determine your starting point, first of all. Where are you at? And this gets back to some of the 5 days of you program that we have. Finding out, where are you at? You got to right now in your relationship to success in your life. Where are you at? So, what's your starting point? And then you have to mark your ending point. So I'm here and I want to be here. And then we have to plot the route you'll take. And then we're going to have several stops along the way. We're going to have the mini goals, right? We're going to have different 12-week periods if you're working with our program, because that's how we do things here, 12-week years. But you want to plot that route, and you'll take all those stops along the way. But you have to, hey, you got to be ready to go. You got to get your stuff together, right? You got your planner, you got your tickets, you got your passport, you got everything you need. But we need to sit down and figure out that starting point, that ending point, and let's plot how we're going to get there. And again, there's probably going to be several places that we're going to stop along the way. Now, success is a journey, not a destination. I know you've heard this. And Arthur Ashe said, the doing is often more important than the outcome. And that is really so true. It's the journey. It's what happens on that route as you plot that, all those little dots that were on that map. It's those things that really are so very, very important. Those are the people that you meet, and the people that you work with, and the people that you help, and the places that you see, and the skills that you learn, and all these wonderful things. So it is that journey, not a destination. It's much the same for being successful, except that your journey will start with you writing your own success story and determining the goals to get you there and the route you'll need to take. So we're going to sit down and look at these things. And the final destination is being successful. I think once you're success, someone says you're a success, it's probably your epitaph, right? They're saying it at your funeral. He was a success, right? Well, I don't want to be a success yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to have someone talking about how great I did over my grave. I want to be successful. And I think that's probably where you're at as well. So this is what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks. Now, first of all, how do you see yourself right now? In all the areas, all your goal areas, how do you see yourself right now? And currently, where are you in relation to your goals of success? So again, that's what this wheel of circle that we did, the life wheel that we did in Deep Dive to Destiny in 84 days. It's part of that. But you have to know where you are now and where you want to be. Now, do you really want to be a 10 in all these areas? Well, probably not. And those are the things that we want to talk to you about, because if you try to be a 10 in everything, you're never going to be a 1 in anything. Because you're too diluted. So we want to look at where you are right now. What are some of the most important things that you want to get done, and where are you in relation to those things, so that we can get you rolling and get the proper plan. Now, of course, the answer is going to depend. I mean, you say, well, it depends. Well, yeah, it is. It's going to depend on the goals you've chosen as to where you are right now. Are you starting a new business venture? Do you want to lose weight? Have you decided to learn a new skill? So these are the different areas of success. So you're going to be a 1 or a 2 in some of them, maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 in another. Some of them you might be a 7 or 8, and you want to get to 10 in that area. So you just need to get a little bit more skill, a little bit more time at it. But it depends. It really does. Each of them are going to be different. So based on what goals you've chosen, it's going to depend on where you are right now. Now, your success story begins when you know where you are and have a plan on how to reach your ultimate goals. And I don't make it ultimate goals. And to help determine where you are and what you may want to include in your new plan, you got to look around. I mean, there's 4 beautiful thoughts of life. I love this one. It's look back and get experience. So go back and say, hey, if it's not your life, maybe someone else's life, right? But look back and get experience. You want to look forward and see hope. Now, hope's not a strategy, but you want to look forward and see hope. And you want to look around and find reality. So you have to look around, because you don't want to have this pipe dream, this fantasy, but you got to look around and find out what reality is. So where are you right now? And then you need to look within and find yourself. So look back to get experience, look forward to see hope, look around and find reality, and look within and find yourself. Now, are you currently doing things that may be sabotaging your chances of success? That's maybe what's happening, and maybe just not recognizing those. And that's a big reason to hook up with us and get some strategy sessions at A to B for me, because we're going to look at thoughts, actions, habits, character, destiny. We're going to look at the entire strategy and help you write this plan. But we have to know, are you currently sabotaging your chances? And sometimes you can't see it because you're too close to it. So it's a good reason to have a mentor or a coach working with you. And this may have been part of the reason you haven't been successful in the past. And again, you may not realize it, that you're self-sabotaging yourself, but are there habits that hold you back? You've set these things up, and your subconscious is just rolling along with it. So they're just a habit, and we may need to alter the habit, get rid of the habit, create a new habit. But we have to know what to do with that, and we talk a lot about that on Deep Dive to Destiny in 84 Days with James Clear in Atomic Habits. But do you need to go back to school to reach your goal? That may be one of the things. Maybe you need more education, right? Well, nowadays it's pretty simple. You got so many online courses that you can go back and get an MBA in about a year. But so do you need to do that to reach your goal? What do you feel like you need? So we got to know the what. What's missing? What is that? What is out there that we have to have? And it might be multiple whats. So let's look at these things and let's figure it out and make it part of our plan. And then we have to decide now that you're willing to do whatever is necessary to become successful. You just have to. You have to take the mantra, whatever it takes, and include the necessary steps in your plan. You have to go all in on this thing, or it's not going to work for you. You can't just tip your toe in it. Let me see how cold that water is. Nope, just hop in. You got to get it going. Make this decision, and let's decide to do whatever it takes. Now, how do you see your past failures? Do you see your past failures as reasons why you can't start over? You're hanging on to that, and that's what the subconscious does a lot. The conscious mind, again, we've got Frankenstein as the subconscious, and Einstein as the conscious, and Einstein had all these great ideas, but Frankenstein's over there, we can't do that. I know you tried that before, it didn't work, and now why do you think you can do it now? So you might have all these reasons because of past failures, and we have to let those go. I mean, do you see them as obstacles to success? And we've talked about this in some of the previous lessons, but are you letting these failures just be an anchor on you and not allowing you to move forward? That's one way to look at your failures, but it may not be the best way to view them. From another viewpoint, you probably learned something from them, and that's a good thing, right? So you're failing forward. So we have to change your perspective and change your life. And you can't just let these failures continue to beat you up. Just look at them and say, okay, what did I learn from that? I was zigging and I should have been zagging, and that's what you learned. Well, now there's 10 things here I needed to do, and I found out 8 that don't work. So I got 8 that don't work. I got 2 more left. Let's give those 2 a shot. But at least you're being more efficient because now you know what doesn't work. So got to take that perspective and move forward. But it's all about how you see your past failures. Again, failing forward. So perhaps instead you see the times you failed as stepping stones that took you to another level. And that hopefully that's what you're seeing. If we haven't got you out of that yet, we need to go back and dig back into the previous modules. But you have to look at these things as stepping stones. You may also see them as lessons you needed to learn in order to spur you into further action. So you're getting some sweat equity, if you will, in your own life and in your own ventures. And if nothing else, they gave you experience in not what and what not to do in the same situation. And that is really, I mean, we talk about, we talk about the old joke about the plumber that comes over and he just taps his hammer on something and or on a piece of machinery or something, and the thing worked, and charged the guy $10,000. And the guy said, "Well, you charge me $10,000 for just hitting the thing on the side of the house." I said, "No, I charge you for $10,000 for knowing where to hit my hammer on the side of that thing to make it work." So it's all about experience, and that is really where you're going to benefit in the future. And that is really that, again, that sweat equity is building up through all the little failures that you had. So hold on to those things and be proud of them. The fact that hey, yeah, I've been around the block before, and I know I've done that before, and I'm not going to do that again. So let's be sure that we're looking at these things that have happened to us as stepping stones, things that spur us into further action, and just they're just experiences and what not to do in the same situation. Thomas Edison's a great example. When creating the light bulb, you may have heard this. You probably have. He was asked about the failures of his first attempts, and he replied, "I haven't failed. I found 10,000 ways it don't work." Now, later, he also said, you may not have heard this one, that many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And if you've been with me, we've gone through. I've got really a map of success, and it kind of look like Where's Waldo, where you got the bus, and you got the bus driver, and you got the tour guide, and the tour guide assistant, and all those. And in a lot of cases, you're out there, and you were just on this path, and you were winding around and winding around and winding around and winding around, and you weren't on the superhighway to success. And so and you finally you just were tired of winding. It just took too long, and you gave up. And the problem is there was only one more wind, one more little bend in the road, and you'd have been there. But A, to be for me, we want to get you on a super highway to success, because once you get on that super highway, you can see it, and it's just right there. All the signs are perfectly lit up and aligned for you to reach your success level. But don't give up. Don't give up too soon, because I tell you what, probably it's just right around the corner. Now, our perspective can change the way we look at life. It can be a turning point, or it can be a triggering point. It's like, is this glass half empty or half full? Well, it may be a case of looking at the same glass and seeing it half full or half empty. It's all in the way you perceive things, and perception is so important, especially in this phase of getting your plan together. And what may seem like a failure when you were in the midst of it may actually be a great learning experience that gives you the knowledge you need to succeed in the future. So again, when we look at the half full, half empty, is it a turning point, or is it a triggering point? And for a lot of you, it's the turning point. I got there, and doggone it, I just saw, no, I know what I've been through, and I'm not wanting to go through anymore. No, that's okay. When you might have, the stuff you went through for the first half might have been the hard stuff, and the rest of it's gravy, right? So you just need to make that a triggering point and say, man, I did all the tough stuff, so now I'm going to go on and get this thing rolling. So look at it as a triggering point, and not just a turning point to take you back down. Now, perhaps failing will allow you to see a need that no one has considered in the past. Because of your need, you may end up coming up with a great solution. This is, to me, this is kind of like the definition of the popular show Shark Tank, right? Have you ever sat in the Shark Tank, watched that Shark Tank show, and also these people come on, and you're going, dog, God, I can't believe that man, yeah, that's awesome. I can't believe they did that. And they got this little bitty trinket. I remember the guy that had the magnet that held his glasses up or something on your shirt. God, multi-millionaire now, a little bit old piece of magnet. The guy that had the sponge, the round sponge, you see them all the time now. But it might be just something that you see a need for that you hadn't considered in the past, and it could be a great solution. So sometimes your problems are there for you to solve, so that you can utilize those and that'll be part of your success. A lot of people talk about aha moments in your life, but that might be an aha that totally turns your life around. I know a lot of times in today's world, we're looking at we give mentorship and coaching in social media. The different types of ad sets, the different types of funnels, and these types of things, and those are ways that we can help people, and those are also ways that you can. Have an additional source of income for yourself in your business because you got a problem and you figure out how to solve it. Well, you think you're the only person that's ever had that problem? Probably not. So, if you've had the problem other people have, if you found a solution, you can probably sell that solution. So don't look at problems as a negative thing. Problems are positive things, especially if you can find a great solution because they are marketable. What changes do you need to make? Let's look at your vision. Let's look at your plan. Do you need to change your action? I can probably answer that for you because that's the most problem we ever see is the fact that people are all excited and and they skip their thought process. They skip getting their subconscious on board and they just go full bolt into it, full bore into it, and then they get into action, and then the subconscious starts turning south on the deal, and you're done. But is it your vision? Is it your plan? Is it your action? Those are really the main things that are going to help you get to success here. But what changes do you need to make? And you need to be very, very, very brutally honest with yourself. If you're not going to be honest with yourself in this exercise, it's just not going to do you any good. You're going to end up in the same place you've always been. And in other words, you got to say, this is who I am. And you have to know who you are. And you have to admit that to yourself. And if you have a coach or mentor, you need to admit it to your coach or mentor. Do you see yourself as a failure or a success? Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'll actually I see myself as a failure. And then we can open it up and peel that onion back and get to that smelly, stinky stuff that makes you cry, right? And let's figure it out. Let's get it down to the core and let's get it right this time. But you might not be a failure in all the areas. You might just be a failure in a couple of areas, and that might be because you're concentrating too much on the other areas, or just might be an area that you're weak in, and we need to pump up that area and strengthen that area. It might be the education, it might be through some counseling. But do you see yourself as a failure or a success in these different areas? And what type of self-talk do you use? And we've talked about this about everything that we do here. Again, we all start with thoughts, and our thoughts really are our self-talk in most cases. So I want to get your thoughts right. But what type of self-talk do you use? And amazingly, people don't usually think about these things when they begin to search for success. They skip the most important part of the A to B for me strategy, which are our thoughts. That's the foundation. That's the foundational strata of success, is getting your thoughts, beliefs, get your subconscious on board, so that you can really get things going when the going gets tough. And the answers you give to these questions are going to determine whether or not you're successful. They just are. If you've got a pity party every day, if you got stinking thinking, it's not going to work for you. It's just not. You're not going to be attracting the right things in your life. You're not going to be attracting the right people in your life. So you've got to start with your thoughts. And so let's really, really concentrate on the self-talk and really this is who I am. I want to get that to be a very positive thing in your mind. Henry Ford once said, if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're right. In other words, it's up to you. If you think you can't do it, you're right. If you think you can do it, you're right. It's whatever you decide, whatever you get the subconscious on board to make it happen. In other words, how you think can have a large impact, huge impact on your reality and how well things work out for you. So we got to get the thoughts right So in all of this, again, in the A to B for me strategy, it's thoughts. That's the foundation. Thoughts and then action and then habits. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to make it where you can really define your character, get your core values in there. And then once you get up to character, it's just a small little step really to destiny in these different areas, because you're showing everybody who you are, you're showing yourself who you are, and you're attracting great things in your life. So let's get the I can do this thing, and we'll be right with you all the way. Now you got to see yourself as a success or see yourself as a failure. The choice is yours. So you got the little clothesline here, and it says "I am." So you're in charge. You got the pen in your hand. Remember, not in somebody else's hand. I am. Okay, this is really where we need to start in this process. I am. Who are you? Define who you are, and then we can find out what changes we might need to make, what alterations we might need to make. Now, if you realize that you've always seen yourself nearly making your goals, but never actually obtaining them, you can change that in your mind. Because in the past, again, your subconscious is saying, man, every time we get to this point, you do the same damn thing. You weenie out, you belly up, and we go through all this mess, and then you never finish. And we have to get that changed in your mind. And the only way to do it, again, is to start with many goals, many successes, because we've got to get your subconscious on board. Your subconscious has an excellent memory of everything that's happened, and it's there to protect you. Again, it's there it knows what happened, and it remembers how sad you were, and maybe how destructive it was to you, and it doesn't want that to happen to you again. But as we have goals and things we want to make happen, let's start changing that tape. Let's rewind and let's make it a positive tape. So as we go through, we can say, okay, well, I know last time we took on too big of a chunk, and now we're going to go small baby steps here, and let's get some successes. So you can change that in your mind. And again, down at Puerto Vallarta, I took a picture of this a few years back. If not now, when? Right? I mean, you can start now to view future failures differently than the way you viewed them in the past. There's no reason at all why you can't make changes to move forward rather than falling backward. So writing your success story is going to help. But the bottom line in your life for everything is, if not now, when? When are you going to do it? You spent 18 weeks in this program. It's time. Let's get that pen out and let's get this thing rolling. All right, well, we're almost done with Module 4. Like I said, it's halfway. We're going to use the next lesson as the last lesson for everything. We're going to wrap up overcoming obstacles by finishing up writing your own success story. But first, here are the things we have to do this week to get prepared for that. First of all, I want you to look at your past failures and describe to yourself how you could have used those experiences as stepping stones to success. So let's drudge it all up. Let's get the mess out there. Just do it. Let's pull it up. And if you're working with me or working with us, let's bring all this stuff up, because we have to know what we're dealing with, and you have to remind yourself what you're dealing with. So look at your past failures and describe to yourself how you could have used those experiences as stepping stones to success. And then consider how you viewed them at that time, right? Would a more positive perspective have resulted in a different long-term outcome? So you're different now. You're older now. Your life has changed now. Maybe where you live is different. Maybe who you're with is different. But consider how you viewed them at that time, and would a more positive perspective have resulted in a different long-term outcome? Number 2. I want you to download and print and complete the How to Write Your Own Success Story worksheet, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Now, it's under the Additional Resources tab for those of you in the A to B for Me community. If you're not in the community, you can reach out to me at don@aToBForme.com, and I'll send you a PDF. But you need to download and print and complete this success story. And here it is. It's going to contain valuable self-reflection questions. They're going to help you write your own success story. So let me pull up a copy of that for you. And here it is. How to write your own success story. And you've got some questions here you just have to answer. And there are things that you're going to go through and get them done. And then that's going to take us into our next session. So be sure, I've got, I think there's just 9 of them, 5 pages here. So I can go through it real quick for you, but one is what's holding you back from being the success you want to be. Number 2, has there been a point in your life when you've been successful? That's important because you got that you got some memory back there of it, and you can pull it back up. The subconscious, it forgets those things too, right? It's going to take the negative over the positive in a lot of cases. Do you have the skills and training you need to achieve the goals that you're going after? Do you sabotage your own success by the way you speak to yourself? In other words, there's self-talk. Are you willing to make the necessary changes to become the success you desire? That's important. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Have people in your past encouraged you when you attempted something new? You have to have a good support group. So we always talk about all the time about being surrounded by the right people. And who do you know that can mentor you and guide you along your path to success? So it's very important to have someone for accountability and to help you get this thing going for yourself. Does your desire to succeed run deeper than your fear of failure? You need to be honest with yourself on this one. And then, are you ready to dig deep and write your own success story? And just jot down some ideas here. But we're talking about, again, looking at all different areas of your success so you can write a complete success story for yourself. All right. Well, let's go on down here. That's it for today. So get that. You got an entire week to get that done for yourself. If you're listening to this not live, then you've got as long as you need, but get it done. Don't make it a quick thing. Take the time to make it right. But thanks for attending. I'm gonna hop back in here real quick and say goodbye to you. But I did that again. I'll be that size. There we go. But get up to YouTube if you're not in YouTube, hop up there. We've got the entire Overcoming Obstacles series in there. If you need to go back and catch one, that's probably the easiest place to do it. We got them in Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Web Talk and several other areas as well. But YouTube is probably the easiest one to go back and catch them all. Anchor FM, of course, are all listed there as well, so you can just listen to them. You can download them and listen to them in the car, listen to them when you run or mow the yard or whatever you do where you're not going to be watching the video. And, of course, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But thanks for attending. I want you to have an awesome week as always and keep moving in the direction of your dreams. And if we can help you, again, reach out to me for a one-on-one strategy session. It's easy to do. A to B for me.info/15 with Don. You're going to get a look at my calendar. Now, I could lay it up here for you at the end of the year. I'm very, very busy because we're wrapping up a lot of folks' years. We're getting plans for the next year. So, but just find your spot in there. And then once you do and confirm that, then you're going to get 4 questions that's going to get us started off to get rolling, get to know each other a little better so it can help you out. So hop up there and get your free session. It's available. Like I said, just go up there, A to B for me.info/15 with Don. Doesn't cost you anything, just your time. And let's get it going. But anyway, just get everything done this week. Again, next week we're going to wrap this all up. Session 20 is the very last session of Overcoming Obstacles. So work on your planning to write the story, and next week we're going to wrap it up. All right, well, have a great one, and we will talk to you later. Until then, as always, keep moving in the direction of your dreams.